Summer vacations are right around the corner, of course. That means a lot of parents will be willing to shell out the cash for those extra fun activities. But there is a way to make some good choices that won't add up some debt. So with us this morning is Majewski with American Benefits Exchange. Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
So first of all, why do we find parents spending so much money on extracurriculars?
Well, a lot of my clients say that extracurricular activities are very important, or an important part of their children's development. I agree. The research shows that children that participate in these activities succeed more in school and develop better socially. But why are they paying so much, right? So 8 out of 10 parents say that or think that participating in these activities will one day lead to a financial reward, like a scholarship or a career. The thought process is the more you pay today, the more likely this is to occur. And as a result, they're taking on additional debt, paying more than they should to fund these things.
Yeah, and what can we do to kind of curtail that, to prevent that?
Well, it's planning ahead and understanding what your budget is. It goes back to trying to eliminate or not take on more than you can. So by planning ahead, having a certain budget, understanding what all your current expenses are and what the expenses are for these activities can determine what you're going to allow your kid to do or what you should choose for them to participate in.
Is there maybe a goal number, like a percentage of your income that you should plan to spend on stuff like that?
I wouldn't recommend spending any more than 10% of your take-home on something like this, but again, just depends on the activity and the importance to your child and what their skill level is at it, whether it's a sport or an activity or dance or theater. These are things that you should determine, use your best judgment as a parent.
And focus on stuff that they like. Don't
just
push them towards.
Of course, you want to make sure it's something that they enjoy and they're not feeling like they're being forced to do.
Right, and this is also not just a summer thing, something you should think about year-round, correct?
Correct. In the summer, obviously, kids are off and they can participate more in camps and other things, but all year round, these expenses occur. So it's an important part of your budget, it's an important part of your planning process, both now and in the future.
Now, for parents, what do you recommend they do to be mindful of debt? Just kind of like an expense tracker, like you mentioned, maybe just being mindful. Like, what's a tool they could use, maybe?
Well, a lot of parents are coming into these situations with existing debt. So I always recommend, look, take care of your current debt first before taking on new debt as a result of these activities. So it starts with a strategy of plan, right? Tracking your expenses, understanding where each dollar goes, knowing what your current debt payments are. And then potentially saving money on the side so that this isn't going to become something you just throw on the credit card last minute. You've prepared for this ahead of time. Once you determine what your current debt is, what your finances are, you can work with a financial professional to determine the best strategy to bring down that debt.
Yeah, so obviously if we've had to talk about this, this is obviously a problem. And more so, I didn't think it was a problem that people were overspending on these, but I guess if you want your kid to be in every program, it's a little unnecessary if they don't like it too, like you said.
Well, you want them to experience as much as possible, so you don't want to hold them back, but then you want to do it wisely when it comes to your finances, because you don't want to feel like you're going down a dark road here just to make sure that they're doing something.
Yeah. And it's good to kind of loop them in too, I think. Just let them know, hey, we can't do everything, so what are like the top 3 things you really want to do?
Sure. Limit it and make sure that they're on board as well and they're not being forced. That way it wasn't something you just put money into for something they're not even interested in.
Get them in football. Like, no,
you don't want to
what if he doesn't like football?
You're like, I'm paying good money for this. Go put
It's probably
on that
important to
helmet.
talk to them, I would assume, and say, hey, what are you interested in?
Well,
that
get
helps.
them involved too. If it's a big expense and they want to do it, have them participate in it. When the kids are old enough, they can say, look, if you want to do this, Mom and Dad, we can only afford a certain amount. If you want to participate as well, maybe get a part-time job or help out in some way in order to help with the cost.
Very good advice.
Good tips, good tips. Thanks so much for coming in. We definitely
You're welcome.
appreciate it.
Thank you guys for having me. Yes, ma'am.